Hey, everybody. I am excited to see you. And thank you for coming. Today, I'm going to talk about something that we've talked about in class, which is that just what is prosperity mindset? How do you get into it? And why is this so difficult? And for many of you that are coming into class, you are already high achievers. So you are high achievers that are learning how to manage goal setting, you're putting them with time management, you're putting them with task management, and you're also going to start to put that into your value system. So that's really where most people start coming in to class is you're already a natural high achiever and you know that there's something missing. And you know there's something missing that you want to take action, but action that isn't feeling like it is from your heart or that it's not aligned to something, but you don't know what the something is, feels in, it just feels incomplete. So let me just walk you through a couple of the things that are going to happen for you. Remember, right, my name is Mickey Mikeworth. Thank you for being here with me today. It is a shiny, sparkly day here at my office, and prosperity is a verb, right? Prosperity is an action, and that action is the ability to expand. When you think about prosperity, it is zesty, it's forward thinking, it is pow, but it is this one dot that you have to understand about your own life so that you can magnify from that point. Most people do not know themselves, and they do not know the basis of which all their actions come from. Most people do not know the very core of who they are. And sometimes that's difficult because you have changed, you have evolved. So the person that you were at 18 isn't the same that you're at 28, 38, 48, 58, 68, 78, 88. So you are someone who's going to evolve. And the more creative that you are, and the more high achieving you are, the more momentous that evolution is. So for any of you who loved Pokemon, you are the Pokemon of creativity, that you are this until you're not, and then you're this, and then you're something else. So we're going to just kind of walk you through that. Many of you are coming in because you're learning about putting in those three things: goal setting, time management, task management. And now you're starting to add values identification. And when you think about that values, you also have to come into what I call emotional hygiene. So emotional hygiene is that that's where you're going to say, yes, emotions are allowed to exist and I ignore them a lot. I ignore my emotions, or I don't pay attention to my emotions, or I don't take the time to process my emotions. The first part of prosperity mindset for most people is recognizing right up front that they are not paying attention to their emotions. And your emotions are really this hot button that says, hey, here's some information I need you to know. Some of it is just stuff that you have to process because it's about something in the past. It's not even about today's scenario. So processing emotions is usually the first place that people start getting a little stuck in prosperity class. And remember, prosperity is a verb. So it is action, and it is also that it's healthy to engage. But if we have these unanswered questions around our emotions, we don't feel like we want to actively approach. It's easy to not engage. You don't agency, you need agency in that second step. And that agency is that you feel safe to actively approach the next parts of your life so that you can have the execution and the movement and these next pieces of motion. So you have to identify your values, go through the emotional hygiene portion of it, and then you'll get agency. And agency is, again, when you have motive plus emotion, right? It's kind of this little punch that you can swallow down. When we think about that in leadership, it's really powerful. Then you come to, I want to be prosperous. But to be prosperous, you also have to have esteem for the self, and you have to have action. So when I talk about the self, You have to be willing to hold the self, your capital S self, in esteem. What does esteem means? It means honor. It means praise. It means appreciate, treasure. It is to love the self, the journey. Sometimes it means shielding. Sometimes it means keeping tabs on ourselves, right? How am I feeling? I have to keep tabs on my emotions a lot. Sometimes I have to really look at how to trust my emotions, trust what I'm thinking. So it's taking on the esteem, the self and the esteem, and then it's taking action. And it's taking action from that dot, that one point where we're going to magnify from. Prosperity is the ability to magnify. It is action energy. It likes to know that it can move forward. Action likes agency, but you can't get agency if you're still back here trying to figure out what my emotions are doing, or I haven't done my basic hygiene of managing my day or my grief or my anger or all the things that are bugging me, or that I have unsolved mysteries in my way of life. So when you're on this journey, it takes a long time. This is not a I'll be better in 1 year. That you will take certain steps in year 1, in year 2, in year 5, in year 10, that all of us are evolving our whole life. You will never be the same as you are today. You'll never be the same because you're always having new life experience. You're always learning new stuff. You're meeting new people, that you're gaining new consciousness. I call it mind food, right? You keep feeding this mind new food, but you're not throwing away or processing all the food you gave it to it 10 years ago. So you have to do that hygiene, that cleaning, that really looking at what doesn't fit me anymore. And for many of you, that is around journaling. So if you are avoiding journaling, it's going to slow you down. It's just going to slow you down. So you are going to, one, hear me say this a lot of time. Give yourself some grace. Be generous, be kind, be thoughtful, but be generous. Be generous with time to yourself. Be generous with your process, with the execution of how you're going to do this. And and remember that going into become someone who is calm, loving, thoughtful, that has a real sense of self, that is not hurricane learning. That it's not moving through all of this as a hurricane. It is the calm, quiet, respectful waters, oh, of going inward, of going through the very bold and uncraziness of looking at yourself. And I mean that by your higher S self. So today, I want to thank you for showing up. I want to thank you for leaning in. I want to thank you for re-listening to this. And I want to thank you for understanding that to become the next part of who you're becoming, it's time consuming. And it is also ferocious. So you have to want to be the better part of who you are. You have to do the tiny tasks of processing. You have to do that work because the new you won't fit in a room full of all old you. So the room is full and you've got to let some stuff go. And the easiest way to do that is to identify the things that can go. And that is getting a plan, getting to know yourself, processing your emotions, using agency, being willing to lean in. And don't think that action energy is just list making and task doing. You can list make and task do all the time. That's not going to heal your heart. And you're here to have an abundant, beautiful, fleshed out world that you want to be calm and confident. People ask me all the time, how do I know when I'm in prosperity mindset? How do I know when I'm prosperous? Well, you know when you're prosperous, when you're not taking all of this garbage with you every day. That when you're not bringing all of the past with you to show up in today, that you are just going to be present in today. The minute you can do that, your world will completely change. But you have to be able to show up today with all of the yesterdays processed. And we only do that a little bit at a time. So when you're going through this, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for considering. Thank you for taking notes. Thank you again for the buzz, right? That little that goes around in your mind that says, I'll try one thing. Let me think about that. Let me write this down. Let me just take a minute. All of those pieces that you take matter. And I'm proud of you for doing it. So thank you for showing up. Thanks for coming to class. It's a hard class. And I know it's a hard class. I had to do all this work before I could teach all this work. So I get how much is in our lives around tragedy, around growth, around joy, around family systems, around work systems, around abuse, around addiction. There's so much to process. And it feels insurmountable when you're first starting out. But the more you do, you just kind of take it a little bit at a time and don't expect this to be done in just 1 year. You're just going to take on what you're eligible to take on, and we're going to do that work. The right amount of work will get done. Because there's some other magic stuff that's going to happen a little bit later. So thanks for showing up. I will see you very soon. I'll see you in class. And I will see you also right here for those of you who are online. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you.